And the other thing too, boys, Gordy, that came out of that chat was the fact that when the Super League recommences in the next 24 hours, they've ditched the scrums. I mean, I can come at a few real changes, but that's a whole big bag of change, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I know our scrums, we don't push anymore, but it's so important to keep six groups or six players in a tight grip to give you more attacking space. And I think it's really silly. I think the changeover... the changeover is just not going to work. It takes away too much of what rugby league's about. And I know we don't push, and everybody goes, "Oh, well, you should push." But I played in a game where a guy hurt his neck, Alex Cahill, back at Leichhardt Oval when they brought the scrums back and trying to push, and very, very, very few go against the feed. So I'm happy for the guys to stand there and have a cup of tea and give the backs a shot.
Yeah, look, I'm the same. I think it's important, and it's really integral to the competition. The rugby league always looks like rugby league. It's got to look like rugby league. You don't want to make so many changes that if somebody travels forward in time, we look at what the game looks like in 10 or 15 years, and you say, what's this? They say, oh, this is what rugby league has now become. I don't like that. I think the NRL in many ways should actually peel back the scrum and go back to the way it was, where you have to bind... Not bind tight and push and all that. Take the pushing out of the scrum, but you've at least got to bind together. We see guys now who go into a scrum, and if they're on the defensive side, the second rowers will put their head often on the outside of the hip of the front rower, and things like that, which shouldn't be allowed. I don't think I don't think the lock should be allowed to pass from the back of the scrum either. I think we need to actually peel back the rules, because it's rugby league. It's always been in the game. For 112 years now, there's been a scrum. But second to that, as Gordy said, it's just one opportunity during the game where the whole dynamic changes, because there's 12 players of the 36 on the field, 12 players are involved in the scrum. So it allows an attacking opportunity there that's not always there. So I'm wary of too many changes too quickly, and I think getting rid of the scrums really a disaster.
And they break too fast.
Yep,
like
sure.
A front rower can go and make the tackle. That's what I don't like. And the back rowers, I used to break too, so I was a back rower, so I break. But back in the old days, the only guy that used to break was the lock to go and help out, like the halfback or the 5'8" or whatever it was. But I think that the blokes at the front, and I don't want to change the rules, but if only the lock was to break really quick, I'd be happy with that. And then the other guys, and you can't say you guys can't get involved in the tackle, but if they break and get involved, maybe blow a penalty.
Gordy, they don't need to change the rules. They just need to enforce the rules.
Yes.
That's all it's required. Just make them bind properly in the scrum. And if you want to put... Because I'll tell you, if you're a smart team, and I would challenge the referees, if you're a smart team and you say, okay, guys, we've lost the feed, so it's the opposition's feed, and you get your scrum together properly and you pack properly and bind properly and then push, which are all under the rules... There's no doubt you'll push the opposition off the ball, because they're not even binding properly.
But then the referees have to let that go, because every time a club does do it...
You've stolen the thunder, Gordon.
Sorry,
not for the first time. Not for the first time. But
I just like where you were going with that, Paul.
I know, and I like that you
that.
could see where I was going, Gordon. So that's why we're like a.
I just wanted to get there quicker, Paul.
You and I. Well, I wouldn't say you want to
B1
get
and B2. I'd like to call us.
but no, that's and I think at some point, if a team does that and challenges the referee before the game, listen, we are going to get in a scrum, we're going to bind, and we're going to push, and we don't want to be penalised when we win against the feed, because the opposition has collapsed its scrum or broken apart. It will eventually happen, and that will force them, both teams, to begin actually binding properly, and we actually get some normality back in the game rather than this touch football element we've got so far.